Welcome to the Rising Entrepreneurs Podcast, where we feature top founders and entrepreneurs and their journey. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hey, everybody. This is John Corcoran with Dr. Jeremy Wise, and this episode is a little bit different. This is a live interview that we recorded at the Global Leadership Conference from Entrepreneurs Organization, where some of the best entrepreneurs from around the globe share ideas and to learn about entrepreneurship. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Rise 25, where we help B2B businesses to give to and to connect to their Dream 100 relationships and partnerships, helping you to run a podcast so that it generates a referral pipeline and ROI.
Yeah, I mean, John, after both of us have been podcasting for over a decade, the number one thing in our life is relationships. And we're always looking at ways to give to our best relationships. And we found no better way to do that over the past decade than to profile the people and companies we admire and shout from the rooftops what they're working on. And this interview is no different. So if you've thought about podcasting, you should go to rise25.com to learn more, or email us at support@rise25.com.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the interview.
Enjoy.
Hey everyone, John Corcoran here at the Entrepreneurs Organization Global Leadership Conference in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, 2025. I'm here with Cindy Free from C.A.R.T.E. And Cindy, tell us a little bit about what your company is. You're also based out of Portland. Tell us what your company is and what your company does.
Sure. Yeah, like you said, our company is called C.A.R.T.E. Consulting. We're based out of Portland, Oregon. We serve clients all over the country. We're in about 30 plus states, actually. And what we do is we help companies with full cycle HR support out on an outsourced basis. So if you think about the employee life cycle, that's anything from thinking about hiring somebody to when somebody leaves the organization. So we do HR consulting, we do recruitment, we do training, and we do pre-employment due diligence.
Okay. And you started the company 15 years ago. What's the origin story? How did it get started?
Yeah, actually, my mom is Annie. So a lot of people ask, who's Annie? That's my mom.
You're not Annie.
I'm not Annie. I'm Cindy. But Annie started C.A.R.T.E. in 2010. She was 65 years old. Her career was in HR, which I followed.
Late stage entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. And she started as a retirement job. So for her, she was going to have a few clients. And I had the opportunity in early 2012 to join her. And so in 2012, I joined Annie. We were a very small organization, just the two of us. In 2013, we executed our first strategic planning session, which was a 10-year vision, which is 2024, or 2023. Yeah. And we just started plugging away at the strategy. The goal was that I would grow the business and eventually own and operate the business, and she could retire at the pace that she wanted.
Wow, very organized of you to do that. And so we've had some big ups and downs in that period of time. COVID obviously was a big one. If you reflect back on some of those big challenges, what were some of the big hurdles you had to overcome?
Yeah, oh goodness, that's such a good question, because COVID was definitely a potential hurdle for us. I mean, it was a hurdle for everybody. Yeah. But something that happened before COVID happened in about from 2014 to 2017, where we were such a small organization. We are very referral based, and my background is in hospitality and food and beverage. And so in the Portland area, we're very referral based at that when we were small in that industry. And we had 2 or 3 really big clients. And so,
a lot of client concentration issue then.
It was. And so in 2017, by design, one of our largest clients, we hired an HR director for them as they were growing, which was the purpose, but we weren't able to replace that large client with another large client. And so we really struggled in 2017. And like a lot of entrepreneurs can imagine or have experienced, you just do all of that self-talk, like, oh my gosh, it was going so well, and now what business do I have running a business? And, all those mean things that you say to each other. And so, back to the strategic plan. I mean, we've always had a strategic plan. And so we just, focused on our strategic plan. We focused on business development because the referrals weren't coming in. And eventually, by the end of 2017, we got a really big contract for a well-known pizza chain, and they hired us to do anti-harassment training. So this was before the pandemic when everything went virtual, and so we were out just hitting the road doing these 80 anti-harassment trainings. But it actually allowed us to kind of pick up the business again and get out of the red for that year and start thinking more positively about the company. So when the pandemic hit,
you'd already been through a big crisis, I guess, at that point. Yeah.
We had. And so I had this framework of looking back and trying to decide, okay, if this pandemic, whatever this is, hurts our business, here's plan A, here's plan B, here's plan C. And what ended up happening in the pandemic, though, was HR support became crisis management for companies, because my team was learning all of these new languages of COVID and masks and mandates and layoffs and recalls and, all of the things, not to mention just helping employers get their employees through this really traumatic experience. So we actually got busier, so we got busier through the pandemic. My team grew a lot during the pandemic because we needed to hire more people, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't the culture and the engagement and all of those neat things that we can do in HR. It was responsive and reactive and scary and new, and it was taxing. So yes, it's been nice to kind of get on the other side of that really urgent part of the pandemic, and be able to get back to culture, engagement, and compliance.
Stuff you care more about.
Yeah. Well, it's more fun. Yeah.
And then what has being a part of EO done for you, being a member of EO? How has that played a role for you as a business owner? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just that classic example of EO membership where my kids, my family, my employees, if I ever tried to leave EO, they would be telling me like, no, you're not going anywhere, because there's so many, personal, professional, business advantages to being an EO member. Personally, it's about connection. I've met so many great people. There's people from all over the world. I'm so honored to be a leader of an industry group, which means I get to work with other industry leaders from all over the country or all over the world. The learning part of EO, it feels sometimes like you're getting a master's degree. The level of speakers, even being at these GLCs where the levels of speakers and content is just so amazing. And then, the business connections in this way that's not, this sort of frustrating networking. There's no competition. There's no pushy salesmanship. It's all about building the relationships and just wanting to support each other. And the forum experience gives me, and I know everybody else, the opportunity to be vulnerable and just share kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm sure like my mom, my kids, my friends, they get probably sick of me talking about work. So it's great to have forum mates that you can have that level of trust and confidentiality with. Yeah. Well, Cindy, this has been great. Where can people go to learn more about you and learn about your company, about HR.E?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, so Cindy Free. Also, our website is hrandyconsulting.com, and you can check us out there.
Great. Cindy, thanks so much. Hey, John Corcoran here at the Entrepreneurs Organization Global Leadership Conference in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, 2025. And I'm here with my friend Wesley, who's from EO Durban in South Africa. You are the president and also involved in a bunch of different areas. But you have a company called Oasis Group, about a 10-year-old company. How did you end up founding that company? What's the founding story behind it?
Thanks, John. Yeah, it's amazing to be here. So I actually was involved in construction back in my country and in the public sector, and I decided to move more into the private sector. And when doing that, I started to look for small companies to acquire or just to get involved in, to get into the private sector. Then I found out that the outdoor advertising industry was quite a good industry to get into. And I spent about 2 years researching it. That then founded the Oasis Group, where I started to acquire property to set up these outdoor advertising billboards. From doing that, that industry is quite a passive income industry, which gave me time to then look into the manufacturing space. And then I started looking into the clothing manufacturing, the oil and gas space, and that led me to invest in smaller companies in those different verticals. And from there, it just spiraled on to building relationships in different industries. And within the EO ecosystem, I was able to leverage the networks and the relationships and just grow the company from strength to strength.
So quite diversified in a lot of different areas. What about the early days? What were some of the big challenges when you first got started with the company?
So in South Africa, being a young person was quite difficult and intimidating. A lot of the older people, had these successful companies. So when you go into those type of corporates or those type of companies, you being this little small guy trying to penetrate their companies was a bit difficult. And being a one-man band at the time was also very difficult. Until I realized and I pivoted to take partners in strategic partners who are involved in those specific industries, and that's what I found that worked for me, and I've stuck with that recipe ever since.
Yeah, and you have been in EO for about 4 years now, and president, involved in a bunch of different areas. What role has EO played for you as an entrepreneur? How has it helped you and your company and personally?
EO has been amazing. Just the community, to be a part of this organization, to meet people like yourself, meet people in different industries globally, has allowed me to expand my business globally. From setting up a company in Florida to Dubai, all with EO members, and just being able to explore the different opportunities with EO members. It's such a trusted network that when you communicate or converse with these members in WhatsApp groups or the different portals, you can do so with the ultimate trust. Yeah. And confidence that no one's gonna try and take you down in terms of a deal you're trying to do.
Yeah. And tell us about Ignite. Ignite is this conference. It's a regional conference. I believe it rotates from city to city, and it's going to be in Durban.
That's correct. Ignite's going to be from the 8th to the 10th of 8th to the 10th of June in Durban, South Africa at Zimbali Resort. We've taken over a whole resort. It's going to be a next level conference. We already almost sold out. There's still a few tickets left if people want to join. And the events, it's one of the few events in EO that you can actually come and solicit your business. You can come, solicit the heck out of it. And the events around, the theme is the power within. That's our theme that we're going with, and we've got amazing speakers. The committee that I put in place has done an amazing job, with different experiences, different touch points that the members are going to experience when they come.
Awesome. Wesley, where can people go to learn more about Ignite and also your company, Oasis Group?
I'll share the website link for Ignite. Ignite, you can find it on the EO website, and also Oasis Group is oasisgroup.co.za.
Okay, great. All right, thanks so much, Wesley.
Thank you.
Hey, John Corcoran here, coming to you live from Entrepreneurs Organization Global Leadership Conference in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, 2025. I'm here with Shirley Wiliani, who's from Los Angeles in the EO Los Angeles chapter. And Shirley, tell us a little bit about what your company is and what your company does.
Sure. So my company's name is C.A.R.T.E Solutions, and we are a CFO advisory, outsourced accounting, and HR consulting company.
And you started that 15 years ago. What's the origin story? How did you get started?
Yeah, 15 years ago this month, actually. So I started my career at KPMG, which is a very well-known international accounting firm, and I was on the audit side. I got my CPA license, and I got out as fast as I could. Went to work for a handful of privately held entrepreneurial type companies as controller, VP of finance, CFO, worked my way up. I was miserable the entire time. And in 2010, I was working for a very large commercial construction company, and I was the CFO, and we fell on pretty hard times.
It was a tough time of period, the era.
Mortgage meltdown.
Yeah.
And I had to make a tough decision because I had one foot out the door, and I felt it's not quite right to lay other people off. And so I laid myself off. Wow. And I turned that last employer into my first client. And I started billing my time by the hour as a fractional CFO.
Wow. And did it take a while to get traction, get other clients?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So it was just me for 6 years as I was trying to figure out who I am, who do I want to be. And I realized in that time that I actually had no business being an accountant. I'm not detail-oriented. I'm a visionary, not an integrator for those of us that are EOS. And it took me a while to realize that I really would love to own a business, run a business, and accounting is a part of that, but it's not the whole thing. And so it was not until 2016, so 6 years later, when I hired my first employee. And then between 2016 and 2020, I hired and fired 100 people.
Wow. So just a lot of people that didn't work out?
I just didn't know what I was doing. Okay. Made a lot of mistakes. Okay. But every one of those mishires was something that I learned, right? And now we do really, really good recruiting. We're really good at what we do.
So what's the secret? What turned it around in 2020?
Culture and core values. Hiring for character and not skill. Knowing what matters to you as a person and making it very, very clear, abundantly clear, what it means to belong in your company and to help people understand whether or not they belong. So you're attracting the right people and repelling the wrong ones.
What were some of those core values you settled on for your company?
Speak your truth, get shit done, be curious, team up, and choose joy.
I love how you just like spit those out. You didn't have an acronym or anything.
It's part of our vocabulary at a la carte.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Yes.
Yeah. 'Cause sometimes you ask people and they're like, oh, I got to check the website. Hold on, give me a second.
That tells you, they have their core values, but they're not living them.
Right.
So.
Yeah. You've been in EO for about 2 years now, and we're here at the Global Leadership Conference.
Yes.
What role has that played for you and your company, and personally, how has it helped you?
Oh, wow. I mean, I've made such incredible connections with people across the globe that I never would have, I have friends in Shanghai and Jordan and Vietnam and Sri Lanka. Like, it's been pretty incredible. And what I think it's done mostly is just kind of inspire me to go above and beyond where I think I can go, and just see what other people are doing and get outside of my four walls.
Yeah. You, of course, are from Los Angeles. You live in the Brentwood neighborhood, right on the edge of the fires. I'm originally from Calabasas and know the area very well. What has the last 3-4 months been like for you?
It's been a little crazy, honestly. We were evacuated for 7 days, but came back to, thank God, everything was fine. The only thing that happened was our fridge was a little stinky and we had berry juice, spilling down the hall. But it really put life in perspective. The word gratitude just does not even come close to explaining how much I feel blessed for everything that I have. And I don't take things for granted as much, because the fire came within 400 yards of our home. And we literally wrote a note for the firefighters and said, thanks for trying. I mean, it was tough.
And you probably didn't have much time to get out.
We had about an hour in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shirley, where can people go to learn more about you and learn about your company?
Yeah, so our website is alacarte-solutions.com, ALACARTE-solutions.com. I'm also a speaker, so if anyone wants to hear me speak or know where I'm going, it's shirleywiliani.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, John Corcoran. I'm coming to you live from the Entrepreneurs Organization Global Leadership Conference here in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm from a company called Rise 25. We do B2B podcasting. I'm based out of the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm here with my friend Andy Cheng from EO Los Angeles. Andy, thanks for being here. And you have a company called Optimizers. You've had other companies before, but talk about what Optimizers is and when you got it started.
Hi, John. Thank you. So Optimizer is, let's put it this way, virtual assistant placement and also management company, but we also want to refer them as remote talents, which empower them to really respect this job title even further. And our job is actually helping small business, middle-sized business, primarily small business, to really elevate their business by working on the business, not working in the business. And the first thing they need to understand is how to delegate their tasks to the right people in the right seat.
Yeah, and you are really good at that, my friend. Talk a little bit about your journey from learning how to delegate well.
Oh, yeah. So as an Asian, yes, don't notice, I am Asian. We always have the mindset that the longer hour, the harder we work, you're going to get better life. And then in the future, your life will be like work-life balance. But it wasn't until I started doing this thing, I was overworked, I was burning out, and I realized, okay, why don't I change myself first, and then how to delegate properly. It's kind of ironic that if the guy who's teaching people, telling people how to delegate, but it's the guy who doesn't do it, it's kind of like hypocrite, right?
Oftentimes that happens though, right? It's like a pain point that we struggle with, and then eventually once you turn the corner, then you're like, I want to show others the light.
Yeah, so honestly, the game changer was I started reading a couple of the master books, which I'm using those books to now start teaching a different chapter. A couple of the books that really made me realize that, okay, I need to change the way I work. So I start applying all those concepts in my day-to-day base. So I start around my day around 7:30, and actually finish by 2 p.m. every single day. And then I'm eliminating my email. So I have a goal every day, other than sales-related email, I do not send more than 2 emails. And then because I'm also the sales, so I'm entitled, I should be. But even that, I'm figuring out a way to delegate to someone else, or to the software, to really let them take care for me. So I'm setting by example.
And you have been very involved in Entrepreneurs Organization. You and I have crossed paths many different ways. Talk a little bit about what that has done for you as a leader, being a part of this community.
It's funny, if you guys actually were at the GLC, is they talk about being childish versus childlike. I'm still a childlike person. I think I am. At least I wanted to be. But the maturity of being business as a leader, that I really am proud that everyone, including you, John, everyone has helped me to elevate who I am. And then we talk about belonging. I actually want to say that I belong to a group where they accept me, who I am, and they also have no problem telling me in a nice way about what they think I screw up for. And they still accept me as a friend. So I feel I belong, and it's what I feel like what EO has done for me as a person, accept who I am, but elevate myself. And then eventually my business grow because of that.
What about this Global Leadership Conference here in Honolulu, Hawaii? Why did you want to come here, and what have you gotten from the last couple of days here?
Honestly, I got the inspirational, the one from Canada. The EO talk was phenomenal. It inspired me so much. I want to go back to my hometown to find my root of my family. It really helped me to really think the next year about I want to teach my kids this is what the Cheng family is about, this is where we came from. And also at the end of the day, the biggest asset for EO is people. So I'm here to connect people who I normally don't see every day, and also strengthen the relationship with the people I see every day. It's the way I do it.
And another big event that's coming up is EO Alchemy, which is going to be in Scottsdale in October. I know you've been to other Alchemies before. Talk a little bit about why you go to that particular show and what you've gotten out of those shows.
Well, I kind of know the Alchemy budget, so the level as a speaker, if you're undecided, is definitely not some kind of the speaker like the local chapter usually can afford. And then, so their delivery level, the content is definitely
next level.
Different.
Next level content,
Okay, next level or just different,
all
right? And then obviously for me, it's also reconnect with the people that I know of. Regional, talking about EO West, you get to see them maybe twice a year, but this is the one time you want to be connected to the people. I always get inspired by that.
Andy, optimizers.com is the website. Anywhere else people should go to learn about you and connect with you?
I think I'm going to start my personal website. It's called chenandy.com. So once available, you're going to see more about what I do, what I want to do, my impact for the entrepreneur community. I'm also teaching at high school to teach kids about what the true entrepreneur should be about, and then making a social impact. When we talk social impact, it's not cliche. It's you're making a difference. Even though while you're making money, isn't that great? You're making a positive difference to the community while you're making some money. That's the best thing can ever happen. Thank you.
Andy, thanks so much.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for listening to the Rising Entrepreneurs Podcast. This episode is powered by Rise 25. Please subscribe and check out future episodes.